everybody. Well, I think we have a little bit of a light crowd today. I think it's probably due to spring break. If I could get Vicki Mooney, Rodney Morales, and Wilson Morris to come forward and help us open our meeting. Got these short people.
No offense there, Karen. I'm going to share with you today what's called the table prayer. This is a prayer that my family has done since I can remember, and we still do it to this day. If you would bow your heads, please. Come, Lord Jesus, be our guest, and with these gifts to us be blessed. Amen.
Amen.
You face the flag with me. Put your hand on your heart. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our milestones today, Charlie Baker, I don't see him. Happy birthday to you, though. And Wiley, your wife, Wiley Rudisell, his wife, Carrie, it's her birthday today. Anniversaries, Jared and Leah King, 11 years. And club anniversaries, Joanne Douglas, 4 years. Salute.
Okay, thank you so much. If you brought a guest today, would you please stand and introduce your guest?
Today, my guest is Travis Beard. Travis is with the City of Georgetown. He's involved with real estate coordination.
Okay, do we have any visiting Rotarians? Okay, thank you, Myra. I think we're good. Dennis Pepin, did you want to come up and make an announcement? Okay. Okay. While he's doing that, I want to thank everyone that participated in the ramp build last week. We had George Morgan, if you would stand when I read your name, Larry Baird, Chris Cash, Lynn Beck, Henry Yu, Mike Sweeney, Dennis Pepin, David Kellerman, Barry Bowden, and Terry Fulkerks. Thank you all so much for your service above self.
Just by way of a little history, this is the only club out of 6 clubs I belong to that have had the tin badges still in play. Well, we finally decided to come into the 21st century, and we're ordering new badges for everybody. The new badges will look like this. It'll have your name in big letters so that us older people can read them. Your classification, and or if you're a past president or a past governor in the line, and it's going to be barcoded so that when you come in and you pick up your badge out of the tray, you just scan your badge, and Carol will be very happy because it immediately goes into Club Runner so she can automatically take care of attendance. So there's a sheet going around the tables here. I'd like you to look at the information on the sheet, verify your name, spellings, phone number, and your email address, and your classification, and initial if it's correct, or change what you have to change. And once we got that all done, we'll get the new badges ordered. They'll be magnetic. No more pins. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis. This is something we've been working on for a few years. We're all really excited that we're able to get that accomplished thanks to the Public Relations Department this year. Okay, David Masserang, did you have any announcements?
We'll have an orientation meeting the first Friday of April.
Okay, the first Friday of April, there will be a member orientation.
Right.
And can any member come, or just new members?
Yes, any member can.
Any member can come. We'll be in the back room over there? Okay, 11 o'clock. I can come. I love that. Thank you. Okay, we have a golf tournament coming up, as you know. It's going to be the 12th of April at Cowan Creek. And I know Nathan is off today with his kiddos, and so is Vanessa. But we want you to go online and sign up for your golf team just as soon as you can. And Allison McKee, if you would please come up and introduce our speaker for today.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Bob Weimer with Helping Hands of Georgetown. I've known Bob for a long time. I think a lot of you in the room know Bob because he's so involved in the community. A few of the things he's done here in town have been the Georgetown Southwestern University Task Force, the Main Street Board, Economic Development Board, Georgetown Art Works Board, past president of the Downtown Georgetown Association, and the list goes on. He founded Helping Hands in 2016. Today he's going to give us a little information about that.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Rotary members, for having me here today. Helping Hands of Georgetown. You know, I've sat around many tables like this for quite a few years and learned about what maybe we could do in Georgetown. And by way of Eric Lashley at the library, which he calls the People's Library, I gave Eric an opportunity to look at our business plan. He and I talked. He introduced me to some of the homeless that is in the library constantly. If they're not using the computer, he allows them to sit on a bench or a chair and read and just get out of the elements, which it's difficult for homeless people especially to get off the street, get inside and feel comfortable. Well, Eric's accomplished that at the library. So he's been a real help to me personally and to Helping Hands in getting our mission established here in Georgetown. In April 16th of this year, we will be exactly 3 years old. I established a 501c3 both for the state of Texas and for the IRS, so that we are a tax deductible organization. I had Susan Pratt, who is a Georgetown resident. Our first mobile canteen happened to be her van, because I have yet to figure out how this was really going to work. Eric allowed us to meet at the 8th Street parking lot and start to distribute our lunches from there. That piece of the library on the parking lot sits directly in the path of the Ridge community in Georgetown, where many of our very needy, working poor, underserved population are. So it was a perfect location for us. He got us a picnic table, and soon there's going to be another picnic table because we're running out of space. I eventually was able to buy a little Chevy Aveo, which today we're outgrowing. We do 90 sandwiches a day for 4 days a week, and we touch base with many of the underserved and assisted living communities. We make our trip through the San Gabriel Park to see where our homeless are out there. I have a couple guys who are regular partakers of the lunch and a bottle of water who live in their truck, but they're working carpenters. So we have all kinds of situations around Georgetown that we touch base with, and that goes both ways. They wrap their arms around Helping Hands of Georgetown, and it just becomes, it's a blessing to go out every day that I go out. I had an opportunity because one of my drivers needed to go up and visit his elderly father. So I had an opportunity to drive on Thursday to really get back into our community, my friends, my family, and it was like, oh my God, Mr. Bob, where have you been? It's amazing how we impact our community's life. We just did a very quick point-in-time survey. We are, in the course of a month, we're visually seeing and helping over 530 people. I would say that's a pretty good accomplishment, starting out from 12 bags. We have almost 100 volunteers who help make sandwich bags, help make the basic bags. They meet us at the library. They meet our needy folks who come to meet us there. And it shows them, actually, these are real people. And we have learned no judgment. They have as much right at the library and at the library parking lot and to live as any single one of us do. So, you know, it is my very first man, Ricky. I saw him, he walked up, introduced himself, he says, "I'm Ricky." Well, he doesn't have any teeth, so he's hard to talk to. But he came up, he had camo pants on and a holy t-shirt. I understood that he was a veteran. So the next day I had an opportunity. I ran to one of these craft stores. I got him 3 t-shirts for less than $10, and I bought him a little American flag. So the next time I saw Ricky, I said, "Hey, Ricky, wherever you sleep tonight, do 2 things. Change your shirt and plant your flag. Keep that flag. You're a veteran. You deserve the same respect as I do being an Air Force veteran." So today he's gotten a bike. He has a little backpack kind of thing that he puts in his basket. And on the top of that bag, he has his flag solo. So he's still got it with him today, and that's almost 3 years ago. It's just, yeah, those are really good stories. So how did we figure this out? We learned from the people that we served in the beginning. They introduced us to new people. They introduced us to our grandmother who's raising her kids' kids. There's 4 of them. She's unbelievable. This lady is so committed to raising her family. In fact, she just went out and got a ministerial speaking license. So she is now going to be going around to the churches and speaking, and she uses us often in her sermons. Because what a better way to be blessed than to have the community that we have serve us. And you know, it's 1 brown bag at a time. And we have groups of knitters who make hats and scarves and gloves. We bring them. The lady who runs our lunch program, she comes and gets a little car ready for lunches, and then she opens up her van. She calls it her mobile carrying place, because there's everything in there, from socks to shirts to pants, toiletry bags. You never know what will be in there. But this is a need in our community that we've discovered. And thank God we've been able to carry on and make this work. We have a plan for 2019. We were donated a 14-passenger bus. That bus now has been renovated. On the inside, the seats are all out and shelving has been replaced. The engine is working. We put new tires on it. And what we need to do just in maybe the next month, we've talked to a couple of businesses, but it will be logoed, and it will become the Helping Hands Mobile Food Pantry. So the question comes up, am I duplicating services in the city? Too many of our working poor don't quite get to check all the boxes, so that they then don't get the services of food or clothing from some of our service agencies. So we're going to fill that gap. And working with Norma Perales at Servicios Bilinguis, they're going to ride with me, and they've identified 4 specific neighborhoods in the Southeast Georgetown community. And that's how we're going to start. We'll learn from them, just as we've learned with our little brown lunch bag program, who, what, where needs this kind of help. But I do know, because I've had some Latino drivers who have become like sons to me. And every Christmas time, Mom sends, by way of one of the sons, to our house a dozen tamales. Now, if you've ever really had a real homemade tamale, there's nothing like it. So those are things that we've learned and are blessed with from our community. Mary is just like a second mother to me. She's always concerned about how we are, what we can do, how can she help further than what she does and what her sons do. They drive for us and distribute lunches, introduce us to new people. So next goals, our mobile food pantry, and then I'm still looking for land for us, and we will mirror what Alan Graham did in Southeast Austin, right near the airport. He has 25 acres that he now has 70 tiny homes on. They have their own homeowners association. They have a wood shop, a metal shop, an art studio, a little convenience store. It is an amazing development. So when the comments are made, well, you put them all together, it's going to become a ghetto. I challenge any one of you to go down to Community First Village and see the village, get the tour. It's spotless. They got their goats, they got their chickens, they have their garden area, and they can get as much fresh produce and fresh eggs and fresh goat's milk as long as they take care of the property. That's the way they live and work. So I've learned from Alan. Alan's been my mentor very early on. I've been able to learn how he started Mobile Loaves and Fishes, how we can be able to start that on a much smaller basis here in Georgetown. And here we are, almost 3 years, and here I am standing in front of the Rotary group of Georgetown, being able to share with all of you our experiences over the last 3 years and the benefits that we've gotten from it. We still need to find a warming shelter for inclement weather, whether it is 110 degrees or if it's pouring down rain, where we can get some of our people off the street. I have a very good arrangement with a couple of the motels. They've given us a special rate, so if we have someone that calls us, we put them up in the motel for a couple of nights. Over these last 27-degree days, we had 4 people that we actually put up by way of a couple of the motels here in Georgetown. So the whole community, no matter what the service is, it helps us, and we help, our people help themselves. Nothing is going to be free. It just isn't a handout. Can't be a handout. There has to be a reason that we're introduced to people. We take them to labor finders. We find them jobs, many great stories out of that, and wherever. I've said Home Depot has been excellent for us in hiring people. Walmart the same way has been just on top of this to help putting people to work, whether it's greeter or whatever it is. So that's how our community works. Restaurants make sandwiches for us. Churches continue to support us. And here I am today, a happy camper running Helping Hands of Georgetown with my family and our volunteers who make it all come together. Without them, it wouldn't be Helping Hands of Georgetown. We all have ideas, we make it work. Any questions? My goodness, really?
How does one get involved with helping you in your organization have a group of getting stuff that out?
At the tables, I have left this sheet of paper that tells about the what, where, and who of Georgetown. On the bottom, if you go to helpinghandsgtx.org, that will explain fully how you can be involved. And if you want to make a sandwich bag or a sandwich, you can select a day or a date that works for you. Make whatever you choose to make, and then just meet us simply at the library. We get to know each other, you get to know our friends as well. That's it. It's as easy as that. Yes, sir.
How do people become homeless?
It's always the one paycheck away. We've learned that by way of whether it's drugs or an illness, there's lots of. We have people who have diabetes and end up can't walk. They have very, very difficult time walking, so they can't perform a full-time job. The young gentleman that I'm talking about, we got him a job at one of the new restaurants on the square in Georgetown, but he couldn't stand long enough as he was needed to do in the back kitchen prepping food. We're still working with Lone Star Circle of Care to try and get him the right support for doctors. There's many, many situations like that. It could be a daughter that drops 3 or 4 kids in grandma's lap, and her part-time work as a chef has now been had to give to her family. So she looks for help. She needs help. There's many, many stories like that Another one is a lady who I met the first time in San Gabriel Park, 73 years old, living in her van. She came to Georgetown from San Antonio, living in her van here because her son was incarcerated doing drugs. And she just didn't want to be separated from him, and she wanted to get her relationship with him rekindled so that when he got out of jail from that charge, he would be able to go to the workforce again. So lots of stories. Yeah. Thank you, John.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
Hi.
In 3 years, this has really taken off. Congratulations on what you've been able to accomplish. It's wonderful. As you look at 2019 and beyond into years to come, how big do you want to get?
That's a difficult question because it becomes the numbers of volunteers that we have help to make our mission continue. We have no paid staff. The office is in my desk at my house. How far can we go after this? We'll wait till the end of 2019 to decide if we can afford a small office space. I did, with the help of our volunteers, take the big step, and I actually rented a storage unit. That's our first 10 by 10 storage for the clothing that gets delivered to us, and to food, things in cans like that. It's foods that won't spoil. We'll take it there, but we disperse it as quickly as we can. But now it isn't in my garage or Kelly's garage. It's in our little storage shed. Did I answer your question? Yes, you did.
Bob, you and I go back a long way,
We do.
and what you're doing is commendable. I want to thank you for your ministry here in Georgetown.
Thank you.
You and I have had several conversations about Helping Hands and what you're doing. And the question that was raised previously, how big does Helping Hand want to get? I'd like to pose another question, perhaps on the opposite side. How can we eliminate the need for helping hands, the need for the caring place? How can we provide affordable housing for people who cannot afford to pay $2,000 a month for rent when they're working two part-time jobs earning $1,500 a month? You proposed in 2019 tiny homes, but you say they must be outside the city limits. How will these people get to work if they're outside the city limits? Do you see any solutions to these problems that we face?
That's a big question, Ron. First of all, the answer to the tiny home project that we hope to be able to put together here in Georgetown, we will have transportation for the people that don't have transportation there and do need a place to go to, whether it's coming back into Georgetown to the library to get on a computer that they don't have. We will make arrangements for transportation. If it has to be the Helping Hands bus, so be it. It is the Helping Hands bus. How do we eliminate homeless or working poor? Our community has to get together, both on the retail side and the other service agencies, so that when there's someone who's available to go to work, we need to get them introduced. And that's why I brought up Home Depot and I brought up Walmart. There's a way. There is a way for people to be trained. I know that Nikki Brennan up at the Housing Authority has a program that's just getting its legs. There's going to be a storage container that comes in, and I think the last or first was a plumbing class.
HVAC and electrical.
HVAC. So there was by the finish and degree of that class, by the people who went there were 9 people who were ready for internship in that particular world, in the HVAC world. So there's other programs that are going to be coming. We're going to help people help themselves get to work, whether it's a plumbing or whether it's HVAC or any of the other trades. If you watch any TV at all, that is the next steps for DIY companies that are on TV. They broadcast firmly that they have interns, that they're going to help get their own legs after they go through the intern process of building a house, or putting in new heating systems, or putting in new plumbing system, or installing solar panels. So that's what we have yet to work on here in Georgetown. There's, at this point, I think the best solution is to work closely with Nikki Brennan and to start getting a better word out, so that if a plumbing class is going to be in there, we let everybody know who needs to know, and they get there.
Well, the location for that program is the Georgetown Housing Authority in Stonehaven.
Right.
But actually, the Literacy Council of Williamson County is coordinating that program with ACC. You're right. If there is an opportunity for our social service agencies, for our businesses to come together and put our minds together to figure out how we can solve these problems. And we might not catch them all, but I think we can make a big difference.
I think you're
and
right.
That's a commitment that I think we both share.
Yes, we do share that, and together we'll be able to continue to work on that, because it's more than the helping hands of Georgetown. It's the church's organizations. It is our other outbound construction developers who have to be able to say, yes, we're going to take on a dozen people on a new building project, and we'll teach them how to use a hammer. We'll teach them what the different sizes of nails are, so that they can then become productive citizens and at least pay some kind of rent for their living expenses. Yes. Wilson?
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
By the way, it's not a hammer, it's a nail gun now. Nobody knows how to use a hammer anymore.
Okay.
Bob, how does your organization interact with, you actually kind of got into it when you were talking with Ron, but I'm thinking of the Caring Place, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and there's so many organizations in Georgetown that are doing great things. Do you all have a relationship between these organizations?
Wilson, we do. And early on, we knew that the relationships that we have with our other service organizations here in Georgetown needs to be kept, needs to be shown to and given to the people that we help. So as a result, from those conversations came this card. This has a list of all of the service organizations from Caring Place on down through Lone Star Circle of Care, telephone numbers, days of operation, and on the backside it's all in Spanish. So we have taken this piece of paper, this card, and we've enclosed it in the lunch bags as we go along. I haven't made a distribution recently, but just coming to this group to speak about what we're doing, I know now I need to reprint this and get them restuffed in the lunch bags so that the people that we didn't see before, they may not know about this. And we'll help them however we can. Vicki.
How do you handle what I have imagined, or some of the questions, like somehow if you build it, they will come, like giving sandwiches away is going to get every homeless person in the state of Texas to come to Georgetown for a Sammy? How do you address those concerns from perhaps misinformed people?
The best way that I can answer your question, Vicki, is to say that the community that we serve doesn't let that happen. They keep Helping Hands of Georgetown from being taken advantage of. Now, some may not understand that, but when we found out that some of our people early on were taking our lunch bags and selling them for drugs so that they could go a couple blocks away and pick up whatever it was that they were looking for, we were told, not by our friends that we helped, that this was going on. So it took a face-to-face and an interview and an introduction to the Bluebonnet where they can be taken to be interviewed, and if they need a stay overnight or a stay in or introduction into a program of recovery, we get that done. Is it 100%? No. I mean, it just is. Sometimes it's going to be, it sometimes may happen. So far we've not experienced that, and I think if in that 3-year period we haven't experienced an influx of people coming to Georgetown who know that we provide those services, it hasn't happened yet. And we have many people who will say, if you build it, Every homeless person, every drug addict is going to come from all over the state to Georgetown, Texas. I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe that our police force and I believe that our sheriffs have a better handle on those things than that. And we work closely with them. I talk to the officers all the time. They could be in the parking lot where we happen to give lunches out. So we always get a conversation going. They know my little car is there every day, and Eric's let us park our little car there. So everybody knows what we're doing. I don't say everyone. The majority of the people in our city that we've been able to contact know what we're doing. And we know that we want to protect Georgetown, Texas. It's a city of amazing people, amazing volunteers, amazing businesses, and we want to keep it that way. So we're careful. We're very careful about what we do. And we have a vetting system just like anybody else, and that vetting system was given to me by Alan Graham, who has 22 years in the field out there. So I take lessons like that, not lightly. Does that?
It does, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes, sir.
I normally think of homeless people as the old man in rags, the woman with bags all over. But what do you do for the families with children?
There have been so few families with children that we have met anyway. That's a hard question to answer. There is Williamson County Child's Advocacy. We can talk with them to see what they might suggest for the family, but it's a family thing. We do not see it. The best and closest example is I have a 21 and a 22-year-old couple. The lady is pregnant, so we've introduced her to Lone Star Circle of Care for her pre-maternal care. But that realistically has not happened to us. Most of the time, the only couples that I've been aware of have been in the Walmart parking lot with a sign and this cutest little kids that say, "Help us." They don't want anything. They always have a bucket for money. And thank goodness for our law enforcement who meet with them, assess their situation, and ask them not to be putting up a placard saying, "Help me." Find a way to help themselves first. Hard to answer question. Anyone else? Thank you very much. Thank you all for asking.
It's a practice of our club to ask our speakers to sign a book, and then we give that book to Pearl Elementary and put it in the library.
Very good.
So if you would sign that for me before you leave,
I will.
that would be perfect. Thank
And
you.
if I may,
Yes, sure.
we are working with GISD. They have given us a list of the most needy schools that have a lunch deficit. And this deficit isn't kids that are free lunch, free breakfast. This is a deficit where working parents just can't afford the cost of the lunch program. So as we move along into the next month, we will be helping to eliminate some of those deficits in the 4 schools that they gave us on the list as the most needy. One of them is already taken care of, and we will continue on that journey. Because we want these kids, it isn't that they don't eat, they get a juice and they get a sandwich, and they go to their table. But they don't have a full tray like their buds. And you know, kids are really brutal about that. Pointing the finger. "Oh, look at Julie over there. Her parents are da-da-da-da-da." You know, that, we want to help to prevent that. And thank goodness that the school has said we can do that. So we are taking this one step at a time. And we'll take care of that deficit as we move along. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Is anyone in this room going to attend the 2019 convention in Germany? Okay. We have some delegate voting cards that then I'll pass on to our district governor, who will make sure that our voice is heard at that convention. Are there any other announcements for the good of Rotary? Come on up, Dennis. Dennis is asking if you have filled out the, or corrected the list. Okay. Yes, sir.
David Kellerman is all about service above self. He's not here, right? There's an article in the Sun, the March 13th Sun. Kudos to the Sun for running it. Great story about David and his adventure to hike the entire Appalachian Trail for months and raise money. I'm going to support his cause. That just, we ought to hear a program from him when he gets back.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's for sure. I also saw that on social media. It's been out there quite a bit. So yeah, we're really happy about that for David. Anything else for the good of Rotary? Okay, we're going to quit a little early today. There you go. If you would please stand and join me in saying the things we think, say, and do first.
Is it true?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will build goodwill and friendships.
And fourth.
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
We're adjourned.